Boom. There it is. We are live. Here you go, Matt.
Thank you for being a friend. Thank you for being a friend. Thank you for being a friend. Thank you for being a friend.
Peace up, A-Town. Yeah! Okay! Usher. Lil Jon! Yeah!
Oh my god, it's a 4-2-5 defense. All you gotta do is blitz more. All they gotta do is fire Eric Glenn, and then you can start winning again. They're so stupid.
Sell the team, bro. Sell the team. 1957. Ain't won shit since 1957. They need to sell the team. They ain't never gonna do nothing. Same old lines.
If there's any haters in here right now that don't have nobody to hate on, feel free to hate on me. Sit back there and say my hair ain't luxurious when you know it is, bitch.
I say more dumb things before 9 a.m. than most people say all day.
There's no one that can match me. My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable. And I'm just ferocious.
It's not fair. They were so happy. It's not gonna be okay.
What's up, y'all? This is Ifeatu Melifonwu, safety for the Detroit Lions. And I just want to take some time out to give a big shout out to Russell Wayne and Main Event Mike from the Detroit Lions Villain Squad. It's a fan page and a podcast. And I just want to say I appreciate the support of me and my team. And I encourage everyone to go check out their podcast and check out their fan page. Go Lions.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good morning, Dwayne. Good afternoon, Dwayne. Good afternoon, Jordan. Good afternoon, Fred Peterson. Chad. Oh. Yeah. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome one, welcome all to Football Talk with Russell Wayne. That is me. I am your host, and we are broadcasting live into Detroit Lions News Podcast. Thank you to Joe Chapp and the boys for helping us out. We're also broadcasting live into the Detroit Lions Villain Squad. We have over 46,000 villains, approaching 47,000 villains. And we're feeling good about this. And as always, my co-host. Well, I wouldn't call it my co-host. I'd say my compadre while I'm trying to switch and do things at the same time. Main Event Mike, how are you doing today?
I'm so good, Russ. Thanks for having me on your show.
I love it. But actually, it's going to be your show today because I'm in internet hell. And,
you did the opening, so it's your show. It's got your name on it, but I'm just here to help, brother. Anything I can do.
Yeah, but that's not going to be just the same. I mean, Main Event Mike is coming out with his own brand here next week, isn't he?
Yeah, the brand's been built for a while, but we're going to get back and do our own show. We did the NFC North Open mic, right, for over like a year and a half. And it was more of a trash talking thing, right? And the trash talking just got war. Once the Lions started winning, no one wanted to trash talk the Lions fans. We were too good at it from being losers for so long. Nobody wanted to come in and battle us. But so now we're just going to do a main event show on Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern time, the old time slot. We're coming back.
Yeah, and you know what? And it ends up being just football talk anyway when it comes down to it. After everybody throws out the lame, 50-year-old jokes. Oh, you haven't won anything in 50 years. Oh, the Packers can't win the big game. Oh, the Vikings never won anything. Oh, the Bears ain't won since 1985. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, we got all that done. Can we talk football now? Can we get into the 365-day a year calendar that goes on that has us frothing at the mouth right now because it's Combine Day. It's Combine Week. All these young ex-college prospects out running around in shorts, driving everybody crazy. Who's going to be the next big? It's going to be the next big thing. Is it going to be Caleb Williams? Who's it going to be, Mike?
It's going to be Caleb Williams. I don't think there's any doubt about
it. The Bears?
Whether he goes to the Bears or not, he'll still be the first pick. I firmly believe it. You watch the tape on him, and he's the most Patrick Mahomes-esque quarterback that's out there.
I mean, this is like, we didn't know what we were going to talk about today, but let's just go around the horn right here. The biggest story, whether any Bear fan would like to admit it or not, it's funny. The Justin Fields truthers act like it's already a done deal that Justin Fields is staying. They're trading down, but they're all sweating right now. I mean, is Fields the guy? Are you keeping Justin Fields, Mike, or are you going to trade him and select your next quarterback of the future?
Well, if I'm Ryan Poles, I'm going to get rid of Justin Fields because I didn't hire him. He's not my guy. I didn't draft him. So, yeah, I'm going to get rid of Justin Fields. But, I mean, no other player in Chicago history has really polarized the fan base the way Justin Fields has, divided right down the middle. Half of them want to keep him. Half of them want him gone. It's crazy. And actually today, a video surfaced, which was posted by Justin Fields' agent, of him jumping up and down, going crazy in his kitchen. And they're speculating that he was going home to Atlanta. Of course, a Georgia native, Justin Fields. And there's a lot of interest from the Atlanta Falcons. And it was reported and confirmed by the Chicago Bears that Atlanta reached out about what the Bears would want for Justin Fields. And here's another thing. Ryan Poles said 2 days ago, look, we don't know what we're going to do yet, but, if we were going to do him, we would do it, quickly, because we owe that to Justin Fields. We don't want him, leave Justin twisting in the wind. If we were going to do that, we would do it quickly. Now, that doesn't sound like a GM who's sold on his guy. And I apologize for my lighting right now. I live in a house that's over 100 years old, and I think I got some wiring issues. My light went out above me, so I'm trying to use this lamp. So I know I look whiter than normal. So I apologize for that. But Justin Fields, absolutely, if I'm Ryan Poles, I got to move on from him. You're not going to get another chance like this, the way he's building the team. They doubled their win total, more than that, this year than they did from the last year, and they're getting this pick from Carolina. Otherwise, they wouldn't even have this opportunity to get a guy like Caleb Williams. And if it's not Caleb Williams, maybe it's Drake May. Maybe it's somebody else that they like, but they're going to have to get a quarterback this time. They missed on Stroud. They missed on Mahomes. I can't see how they're going to take the chance of missing again.
Yeah, and I agree with you 100% on all of that stuff right there. And sometimes I usually like to just pick against you, but maybe just for the reasons of it. I think that this, when you're coming to constructing a roster, and Justin Fields is fine to try to build around, with all the ability and whatever. You put him around some playmakers. I like the pick in Atlanta. I think that's a good fit for him with all those guys, and you can really build around his skill set. And I don't think they really did that in Chicago. And here you are with 2 picks in the first round this year, and then you're going to have 2 picks in the second round next year. You got even more to build around. So you don't want to miss on the next big thing, because CJ Stroud was that, and they could have had him. And they don't want to go through that again, Mike. I don't think that they do. And I know there are some passionate Bear fans that are out there that want to keep Justin Fields. And I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to die on that hill. I mean, you want to build around that guy? He's got ability. He's slippery, like you like to say. He's a slippery dude. He is hard to bring down. And he did show signs of progression. So if they kept him, I wouldn't be that surprised either.
But here's another thing. They brought in a different offensive coordinator. This will be Justin Fields' third offensive system to learn. So that signals to me they're not going to keep him also. Why would you put the kid through that? You see that he's struggling to learn the offense every time. And then halfway through the year, he starts to get it. Things start getting better. Now you do it again, bringing in Shane Waldron. So it really would behoove them to draft a quarterback. But then there's a flip side, Russ, right? You're going to get a rookie quarterback and start all over. You're going to take your lumps with a rookie, whether it's Patrick Mahomes or Caleb Williams or whoever. There's a learning curve for a rookie quarterback, and you're going to have to go through that again after you've already supplemented this team. You've already made strides, doubled your win total from the year before, and then you start all over with a new quarterback. It would seem to me, though, if they're going to keep him, they would keep the offensive system in place. By all accounts, him and Luke Getsy got along well. Luke Getsy with that, I know Bears fans are just screaming at me right now, but he was terrible. Well, you know what? Justin Fields had his best year as a pro last year. So he's building, he's improving. So I think there's a flip side. I get why the Bears fan base is split down the middle with this guy. He's so uber talented. I mean, Ray Charles could see how talented this guy is. It's incredible. And Bears fans are scared because if they do trade him, if they get rid of him, he's going to go on and be a superstar somewhere else, what he should have been for the Bears. And that just has got to scare the heck out of Bears fans.
Yeah. But you know what? It's exciting for Bears fans right now because, they have that Madden pull again. They're out there with, you got 2 first-round picks, and you're out there, and you got a whole bunch of money, and they can really make the team better. They made a jump last year. They're obviously a better team already, and I don't know, man. What do you guys got out there? That's what we want to know. We're a bunch of idiots. We want to know what you think. Right there, Ken Fisher's in there. Right there. Report says that Goff is asking for 40 to 45 million. So if so, sign him now. Thank you, Goff.
Okay. Are you changing topics now? We're talking about Goff?
I don't know. I'm just going in here and we're not getting any bite. We got Fred Peterson in there. Fred says Fields is going to want too much money for his production and too questionable of a future. I agree with that. Don't you, Mike?
No. I don't agree with that. He's going to want too much money from who? And I also don't agree with Fred's other comment. Thanks for the comments, by the way, Fred, that in his opinion, Mahomes going to Chicago isn't the same Mahomes as today. Mahomes, though, is a great quarterback, but wouldn't be under many other coaches as great as Andy Reid. I don't agree with that at all. I think if Mahomes would have been drafted by the Bears, he would have turned that franchise around by now. I believe that. I think Goff is that good. And when you look, just the other day, somebody had posted all of Patrick Mahomes' combine results. And how did so many people, not just Chicago, how did so many people miss on him? In fact, the Kansas City Chiefs said it was going to be Mahomes no matter what. They had to move up to get him, but they would have moved up even further if they thought they had to. He was the guy they wanted. They're the ones that saw the talent in him. Yeah, Andy Reid's a great coach, but it took Patrick Mahomes to make him a Hall of Fame great coach, to one of the all-time greats now because of Patrick Mahomes. I think one thing begets the other. You don't have Mahomes without Reid. You don't have Reid without Mahomes. But I think Mahomes, like you said, Fred, a great quarterback. I think he would have changed things around in Chicago by now. Fred also says, I think that if whoever Chicago drafts QB will be another good QB, but a failed career because he went to Chicago. I don't know. Ryan Poles gives me confidence, Fred, that this guy seems competent. Seems to know what he's doing. I think there's good things on the horizon for the Chicago Bears. And getting rid of Justin Fields is just a casualty of getting there. It's just not working. Maybe a move to Atlanta would be good for Justin Fields to move back home, to play with Kyle Pitts and Drake London and Bijan Robinson.
Don't you think? Now, I wanted to go back to Fred's point there with him not being worth the production. So it's like, I don't think I'd want to pay Justin Fields $40 million a year, even on the low end, and him being a starting level quarterback with all that excitement. That's kind of what he would get. If he's going out on the open market. I mean, they paid Daniel Jones $40 million for crying out loud. So it's like, I don't think he's in that mid, like that what do you call the purgatory in the middle? He's in there because I don't think that he's a starting level quarterback, or he's borderline right there. And I don't know if I'd want to take that kind of chance on him, to build your franchise around him. You want to start over. That's what I would think. So I think that's what Fred's talking about right there, is because he's right there. I mean, he's going to be a free agent next year, or somebody's going to have him. I mean, are you going to pay him $50 million a year, Mike? Are you going to pay him $45 million a year?
Well, what Fred's comment is Fields is going to want too much money. No, they're going to trade him. He's going into his 4th year. They don't have to pay him anything except the rookie minimum, or the first round pick, 4th year contract, whatever it is he's making.
Right. But
then they can play him for a year. They can play him for a year. And if he turns out to be the real deal, well, then you just sign him, especially if he's going to Atlanta, where he probably wants to be, going back home, growing up a Falcon fan.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So either Atlanta's going to have that burden, or Chicago's going to have that burden after this year. You're going to have to decide whether you want to give him $40 million plus a year, $50 million plus a year. And
you're not going to give him that, but you certainly would give him Daniel Jones money. And especially if you were to do like a Jordan Love style contract, right? Like a 2-year. He says, he's going to want too much money for his production and too questionable of a future. Well, I mean, his production hasn't been all that bad. And his questionable future is, you're going to get a year to see your investment, risk and reward. I just think this is a good move for everyone involved, and I wouldn't be surprised a bit if it happens.
There you go. Ken says Justin Fields has yet proven that he can throw the ball accurately downfield. He's inconsistent, and he's always thought about running first. And that seems to get him hurt. So I agree with that. That's exactly kind of the point of, are you going to pay this guy? If he has a great year, he goes to Atlanta and he has a great year. I mean, he's going to want great quarterback money for the 1-year production. He's going to be in that 50 to 60.
And he'll either play ball or you let him go. I mean, that's what Fred's saying here. He's saying that when his contract is due, he's going to get paid way too much for the production that he's already shown.
Yep. I'm
agreeing
with Fred. Yep.
But really, it all comes down to what's Atlanta going to give up for him. If they're going to give up a number 1 pick, then yeah, absolutely. You're looking. But what I've heard out there, the value for Justin Fields is 3rd round pick. For the Bears to be able to jettison him, to get him off the team so they could draft the new quarterback, they give up a 3rd round pick. If you're a Bears fan who wants Justin gone, you're okay with that. If you're an Atlanta fan who's going to get him and you're going to give up a 3rd round pick for him, you're going to be happy for that, especially because you're going to get a year to see what he can do. And if he does good, maybe he'll play ball to stay. If he's happy, if he's doing well, if he's progressing, maybe he'll take a smaller contract at Daniel Jones type money. I mean, we're speculating at 50 million or more. What's Daniel Jones getting? 40 million, 41
Yeah, and
million.
that was last year.
And I think we can all agree that Daniel Jones is overpaid, and Daniel Jones can throw the deep ball.
Yeah, but
and
they
he
also
can run.
But they just added 30 million to the cap, and what do you think they're going to add to it next year? So it's like that's why they're talking about the Jared Goff thing, because if you get him locked in now and they keep on raising the salary cap, that $45 million a year is going to seem like a bargain 3 years down the road. You know what I'm saying?
So let me ask you this straight up, Russ. Straight up. This is just a or B question. You only get two answers. Would you rather have on your football team as quarterback Justin Fields or Daniel Jones?
Justin Fields.
Then why not pay him Daniel Jones money?
I don't have any problem.
I agree with that. I would rather have Justin Fields than Danny Dimes. I would. So I'm okay paying him.
Neither of them $40 million. How about that? I'll pay Jared Goff $40 million. But not Daniel Jones. You're off. You sound better with sound. I don't know what you did there. Yeah, Daniel Jones. Hello? Hello. I am not. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I still feel. Yeah. So we're talking about Justin Fields. We're talking about.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
That works better when you unmute it. My bad.
Yeah. Yeah. So Justin Fields, Daniel Jones are not worth $40 million. That's what I was just going to say. Neither one of them are, but I would rather have Justin Fields at $40 million over Daniel Jones.
Right. So I don't understand why we're even stressing about how much he's going to cost in Atlanta. Because if he has a semi-decent year, I mean, the Falcons have won 7 games 3 years in a row.
Oh,
if he gets them to 9 wins and in the playoffs, you give him Danny money.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
I agree with you. I was just backing up Fred on that point. And honestly, I think it's a great move for Chicago to do that because they move the burden over to Atlanta and they get to reset the clock and have a brand new rookie contract with a shitload of draft picks and a bunch of money on an already improving team.
Right. How about Ken Fisher's comment here talking about this Danny Dimes? Well, yeah, that's what happens when you overpay a quarterback. Now, every quarterback that's underperforming and has 1 year thinks he deserves the most. Reminds me of a man by the name of Higginson that played for the Tigers 1 good year, then got a big contract. Yeah, and I bought a Bobby Higginson jersey, Ken, and it's still hanging in my closet.
Yeah. You got a couple other questionable jerseys too, don't you, Mike?
I have an Allen Iverson Pistons jersey.
Yeah, that's right.
Fred says, as a Lions fan, I hope they keep him and pay him $75 million. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the potential, but he's already at the end of where that means something, where you get that money break.
Yeah.
So, you want to hit that one with Chad?
Chad says, I'd rather have Goff at 45 than Fields or Dimes at 35. Yeah, so that's good. That's what we're talking about now. We're talking about this Jared Goff contract. There's a lot of stuff out there on the internet right now. This report came out today that Goff's agents looking for 40 to 45 million, and people consider that a discount. Is it possible that Jared Goff is going to give us a hometown discount? I don't know. I mean, that's speculation, and there's so much disinformation on the internet today. I think we can all agree that 45 million for Jared Goff is just fine. 46 million would be 18% of the salary cap at what it is now. When you inject another, what is it, Russ? 25 million, the salary cap's going up.
Right.
When the salary cap goes up, that means your quarterback's now still entitled to that 15 to 18% of the salary cap. That's set aside for quarterbacks on every team. If you're getting yours on the low end at 15% of the salary cap, then you're winning. If you're like some of these teams that are paying over 18%, then you're not winning. Then you better be able to hit on late draft picks and you better get good production out of a rookie class. Otherwise, your team's too much money's being eaten up by one position.
Right.
Goff has earned a contract extension, yes, but we still have him under contract. Go ahead.
Yeah, and when it comes down to managing the salary cap, you don't have to be You don't have to have a quarterback on a rookie contract. That helps, but you do need to have positions of need under a rookie contract. You know, we don't have a quarterback on a rookie contract, but we do have a tackle, and we do have a defensive end and a defensive tackle and a couple of linebackers. We have other players that are on those rookie contracts. Now, as they play out, then yeah, maybe we're going to go with a rookie contract on a quarterback 2-3 years down the road, maybe next year. But you just have to find balance within that, your contracts. So if you're not winning at quarterback, you need to be winning somewhere else.
Right.
So
there's just so many things we don't know. We're fans. We're speculating. We read stuff on the internet and we run with it, but we don't really know. What I do know is that Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell don't feel there's any quarterback issues. They have their guy. They have him under contract. They're focusing on everything else right now. If they get an extension done with Goff, great. It's going to be for the right number, or it's not going to be at all. They're not going to overpay. Goff has no leverage here.
Right.
And Brad Holmes is too shrewd of a negotiator to allow someone with no leverage get over on him. Quezzy. You hear me, Quezzy? You have no leverage in this situation. Jared Goff is happy. He's happy. He was the son of a pro ball player. He understands at a very early age what having all this money means and how to handle it, how to handle success, and how to handle his money. He's not worried. He's loaded. He's set for his rest of his life already, and he knows it. It's not as big an issue with Jared Goff as it is with some other guys. I wouldn't be surprised if you see Jared Goff get a 3-year extension at $45 million each. That fits under the salary cap. That's a reasonable number, especially when you look at the salary cap going up. If it was not to go up, you could get him at $46 million and still be under the allotted number of the salary cap, 18% for a quarterback on an NFL team. We're sitting pretty here, folks. I feel like it's a non-issue. There's so much Jared Goff talk about a contract extension out there. It's intriguing. Oh, if you restructure his contract, you'll free up another $20 million. We're already $44 million under the cap. We're good. We got our own guys to sign. Our quarterback loves it here. We love him. He's under contract. He's loaded. He's making $34 million this year. He's good. I feel like it's a way bigger issue to the fans than it is to Brad Holmes. And you can see how he poo-poos the question every time he's asked. He's not worried about it. So why are we?
Well, because it makes for good football talk. And I think that you're hitting on something right there that I think that we really need to hit on, which is the other side of that coin. Yeah, it would be nice to have Goff come and sign 2 more years for $45 million. I think that would be a hometown discount for what he could get for that. But the other side of the coin is they don't have to do anything. He counts for $32 million against the cap this year. They don't have to do nothing with him. And you can let Hendon Hooker develop 1 more year and have Jared Goff see what he can do right here. And then you move on next year. You move on. I mean, anybody that is a Goff hater is going to tell you, well, he's nothing special. He just does behind that. Well, you get to see the answer to that question. Is the grass always greener? But you have a quarterback that's going to have 2 years of development going into next year at this time. And maybe that's just the time. That could be part of the plan. Brad Holmes is already on record for saying, we have our plan. Nothing's going to take us off of what our plan is. And if the plan is to sign Goff to 2 more years extension, I'm good with that. But I'm also good with Brad Holmes just, keeping his cards close to his vest.
Mm-hmm.
Not making a move on Jared Goff because he doesn't have to.
Mm-hmm.
No leverage. Like you said, Mike, there's no leverage there.
Right. Absolutely.
He's here.
They're going to sign St. Brown. The rumor today is that they're actually talking today at the combine to St. Brown's agent. Chad says St. Brown will get his $25 million 4-year deal. Why not? Why not? JJ's going to reset the market. So let's get Amon-Ra signed right now before that number goes up.
Yep. Let's sign him to a 7-year deal at $25 million per year average. Do it right now. And in 3 years, that'll seem like a bargain to have the top wide receiver in the league.
For sure. And the length of the deal is so important to these players. That security, right?
Yeah.
That's almost more important than the dollar amount. They would give up a couple of million per season to have that security, to know that it's drawn out over 4, 5, 6 years.
Yep. And what? Who would be against that? As a Detroit Lion fan, let's say I'm calling it right now that this is more than a 5-year deal. I'm calling it that this is going to be a 7-year deal. 7+,
No,
that
would be unheard of. But like you said, it's probably a good deal. I mean, you get something while it's on sale, you buy a lot of it and stock your shelf.
Well, but who is the Detroit Lions? Is Amon-Ra St. Brown embodied into a football player? Doesn't matter that he plays wide receiver, quarterback, running, whatever. It is like, what is the Detroit Lions? It's Amon-Ra St. Brown in all different forms, like defensive tackles, like it's his work ethic, everything that he embodies, like off the field, as a person, character. Amon-Ra St. Brown is it.
Dwayne Keene agrees with you. Lock him up for 7 years, a Lion for life.
Yeah.
Oh, we got your favorite topic in the comments, Russ. You want to talk about your favorite topic?
Oh, no.
We need to examine what we do at halftime and make some changes. What changes could be made? That beautiful topic, Russ, that you love so much. The Lions underperforming in the third quarter all year long.
It's valid.
Now it's valid. Okay, I know it's valid, but you always hate the topic.
What I'm trying to do is be more objective to it. I still hate the topic. But the thing is, I think that you can see evidence that they do make halftime adjustments by the way that they play in the fourth quarter. So if you want to make an argument that it takes them too long for the adjustments to kick in, so to speak, they're getting it done by the end of the game. They keep on working their craft and they keep on doing what they're doing. I think they're going to be fine in that way. They know that they're deficient there. They know that they got to come out of halftime sharper.
Yeah, so, I agree with you, Chad. 7 years is just too many for any player. That's just too much. I mean, they locked up Mahomes for 10 years on a contract. So, I mean,
how's that working out for him?
If you're going to give a guy 7 years, I mean, he's the guy. No doubt about it. But I agree with you, Chad. It's not reality. 4, maybe 5 years would be the most you could see a wide receiver getting.
I'd be good with that too.
I mean, they slow down. They get nicked up.
So
you're in your prime. You don't want to be overpaying if he goes past his prime after 5 years.
Yeah, but the thing is he's 24 years old, isn't he?
But he's coming into his third year or his fourth year. Excuse me. He's coming into his fourth year. So you lock him up for 7 more. You're talking about an 11-year wide receiver that you're paying, $25 million. That seems a lot to me.
Yeah, you could be right. I would be good either way, but that would be something that you would criticize, huh? So if they actually pulled that off and it was a 7-year deal, it takes them, I mean, how old is Amon-Ra St. Brown? That would take him till he's 31 years old. A contract that takes Amon-Ra he's 31 years old as a Detroit Lion.
Yeah, I would not be in favor of a 7-year contract for any player in this game. It's too brutal. It's too violent.
Well, I gotcha. All right. So, but I want this contract done. He is everything that we want in a wide receiver. So Mike and I can agree to disagree, and we'll settle on. We'll be happy at a 5-year extension. Let's do this. Let's get it done. Come on, Brad Holmes. You pay your own. You pay your own. It's a beautiful thing. Look at that man. All 23 Brad Holmes draft picks are still with the team.
And I got a couple of questions I'd like to pose to you, Russ. I know how you feel about drafting kickers. You think it's a terrible move in any round. You'd much rather get an undrafted free agent kicker. You'd much rather get a veteran from another team and sign him. You think that a draft pick on a kicker is a waste of a draft pick. Is that accurate?
I think you can make better uses of that draft pick. Yes. In every instance.
So you've re-signed Michael Badgley for 1 year. Would you be okay if the Lions took a 6th or 7th round draft pick on a kicker?
Well, is it a 6th or a 7th round draft pick?
Yes. It's a 6th or 7th round draft pick. Let's say you were to trade back in the draft and you end up acquiring an extra 6th. Would you be all right?
I would give you a squint face if they drafted him in the 6th round. I got to be totally honest. I would still. I don't know if I can do this. I can do this here. I give you I give you the stank eye if you did it in the 6th round. I can live with the 7th round because I did watch Jake Moody hit a long field goal in a big game, and that was pretty cool. So
Chad says, Yahoo! A kicker segment. Just what I've been waiting for.
Yeah. Yeah, we can get off of this subject as fast as possible, but
I am.
It's okay though.
I am of the mindset that I do not want to draft a kicker in this draft. We are on the precipice of making it to a Super Bowl last year, and I don't want to, like you said, waste a draft pick. And I don't know if it is a waste, but I think that with Brad Holmes going for it on 4th down, he's changing the league. The teams across the league are going for it more on 4th down than ever before. Last year, the NFL set a record for most 4th down attempts. And I think that's directly related to our coach and his philosophy. And if you've got a guy who's money inside 40 yards, don't take a draft pick on him. That's just my take.
Well, I mean, to me, it isn't as much about the kicker itself being like, oh, I don't want you to take a kicker, more than it's, wow, you found Malcolm Rodriguez in the 6th round. You found James Houston in the 6th round. I would much rather have an impact player on offense or defense, or even a backup guy. Like Malcolm Rodriguez has kind of been delegated, kind of moved back in a depth chart a little bit. Now he's just kind of like a special teams, depth kind of guy. And that's fine in the 6th round. That's way more valuable than any kicker. I know that you need a kicker and you definitely want to settle on a kicker sooner or later, but I would much rather them go and take the high priority undrafted free agent and get the best one there.
Right. And I'm glad you brought up Jake Moody. You look at Jake Moody last year, you're talking about a Niners team that was loaded. They didn't have room on the roster for another linebacker. You draft another linebacker, he's not going to make the team. You draft another defensive tackle, he's not going to make the team. So you get a kicker. I thought 3rd round would have been a little too high. You probably could have got Jake Moody later in the draft. But it goes to say this was a hole. This was a need that they had. And now they don't have to worry about kicker for the next 10 years. Remember all the people last year wanted the Lions to draft Jake Moody, and that vein in your forehead would pop out every time somebody would mention it? I mean, Jake Moody.
It was like literally in every single mock draft ever. That you could, like, anybody's like, 6th round, Jake Moody. Like, some people were taking him high.
But here you are conceding now on the last day of February. You're conceding, it's probably a pretty good pick.
Not in the, I mean, I'm still not, I'll
for them.
Clown them for the rest of their life over doing it in the 3rd round. That's way too high. God, Aleem McNeil, we got in the 3rd round. Kirby Joseph, we got in the 3rd round. You think I draft a kicker over a starting, defensive player? Come on.
But when a team gets to where the Niners were last year, And you're talking about drafting guys that you can't see them even making the team because you're so deep all the way around your roster. And the glaring hole you have is that kicker. You go up and you get the best one. The Lions are almost there. They'll be there at this time next year with the way Brad Holmes draft. That's why I'm not opposed to drafting a kicker, just not this year. We're still one step away from needing that.
But let's just clarify right here. I would be okay. You know, you can get like I said, a stank guy in the 6th round, 7th round. I'm okay there. I'm okay if you want to take one of the best kickers in the nation in the 6th or 7th round. But that, like, Jake Moody wasn't very good last year. You know, he made a couple big kicks, but all around, he didn't really have that good of a year. It didn't really pan out the way that people thought, but still he was starting. He's going to be their guy forever. And to all the points that you just made, 3rd round maybe was a luxury pick at that point, but that's okay. I would give that pass there. I would still cringe at it. You could still take a different dude at that point, but I don't know. I don't know. Like 6th or 7th round. Okay. But
Brent says, wasn't Jason Hansen a 3rd or 4th round pick? Yeah, it was a 4th round pick out of Washington State, and he was with the team for what, 15 years? Never had to worry about him again. Never had to worry about that kicker spot again. But yeah, at the time, everyone laughed at that pick when we took a kicker in the 4th. What a Lions thing to do. I think he should be in the Hall of Fame, but what do I know?
Well, you know what? I'll be more than happy to eat my words on the occasion that they draft the next Jason Hansen. I'll be okay in the 3rd round. Okay. How about that? I'll eat my words. I'll go, Mike, golly gee, you were right. Damn it. That was a great pick of a kicker.
Right.
And Chad's over there. His face is about ready to explode because he's like, they're still talking about the kickers.
Chad says that Hansen was a 2nd rounder. I don't know about that, Chad. I distinctly remember being a 4th round pick. Somebody Google that. Chad, did you Google that? I don't know. But I got another topic I wanted to talk about, Russell. So in the press conference the other day, Brad Holmes mentioned that the new defensive line coach, Terrell Williams, was his defensive line coach in college at North Carolina A&T, where they won the national championship at that level. And Brad Holmes, of course, was a captain of the D-line, captain of the defense, and he was a defensive tackle for North Carolina A&T, where Terrell Williams, the new D-line coach for the Lions, was his first college coach. So my question to you is, and Brad Holmes said, but it's based on his body of work. It's what he's done. It has nothing to do with the fact that he was my college coach. Are you buying that? I am not buying that one bit. I think that it has a lot to do with the fact that he was his college coach. He knows this guy. He knows what kind of leader he is. He knows what kind of teacher he is. He went on to talk about those things. So how can you go on and talk about, I know what kind of leader he is. I know what kind of teacher he is. Oh, by the way, it has nothing to do with the fact that he was my college coach. Yes, it has everything to do with it, Brad. Put it in the comments. Tell me what you think. Is this favoritism, or did this guy truly earn it? Do you truly believe this is the guy for the job? I know Dan Campbell doubled down on it and said he's the best D-line game planner in the game. I think nepotism runs rampant even when we don't want it to, and I think it absolutely is connected to the fact that he was Brad's college coach. What do you think, Russ?
Well, I mean, but that wasn't the only connection, was it? And I mean, I think that it's a crazy coincidence. And when it comes with something like this, where I know what you're thinking. Is it favoritism? Is it favoritism that you just landed in front of one of the top 5 defensive line coaches in the NFL, but he happened to be a guy that coached you in high school? I mean, I would think that
not high school, it was college.
It was college?
Yeah,
okay.
College.
So, but it's not like Terrell Williams was still coaching that school. and he's pulling them out of like Division I college. No, this guy worked his way up the ranks. He coached with Dan Campbell in Miami. He had experience there, and he was very successful with coaching the defensive line in Tennessee. So he's absolutely earned a spot coaching defensive line somewhere. And I think that Brad Holmes looked at that as a smile opportunity. He was like, oh, wow, man, I can't believe you used to coach me. And now I have the opportunity to hire you, which just so happens to be the best defensive line coach that's out there. And, give him a hug and move on. But it's not favoritism.
Detroit fan man's totally buying it. He says Terrell is hired due to his time with Dan Campbell in Miami and is only accidentally involved with Brad back in college. That just seems like a pretty big coincidence. It has nothing to do with the fact that he dated my mom. Nothing.
Yeah, but the guy that dated your mom just so happens to be the best guy for the job. It's not. The thing is like it's favoritism if the guy's still coaching at that D1 school in college and you bring him up into the pros and then make him a defense. This guy was already coaching defensive line. And
it's been confirmed. Chad was right. Jason Hansen was a second-round pick, 56 overall. I'd sure love to go look at that draft and see who we passed up to get a kicker in the second round, if there was a franchise-changing player that was available at that time. Interesting.
Yeah, you're going to see me flip my lid if they take a kicker in the second frickin' round. Are you kidding me? I don't think that they will, though. There's so much awesome talent right in the middle pool of that second round. I can't wait till this combine's over and we can get more into the details of that. But I know there's a whole bunch of big man talent, center, guard, right there in that middle pool, like rated like 40 to 80 in that pocket of overall guys. Oh, there's right there your second and third round picks right there. Beef up that line. Yeah. But no, I like these new signings that they brought in. Townsend. I think that's you got more of these player coaches, more of these guys that can relate to the players. And I really do believe that Brad Holmes is building a coaching tree, and they're going to use every aspect to build the team, because we're not going to be able to sign all these guys next year, guys. These 2021 picks, you got Aleem, Barnes, Amon-Ra,
Levi,
Fatu Melifanu, Penei Sewell,
Levi,
and Levi. They're not signing all those guys. But here's the cool thing about that. If those guys leave and they finish their contract, they become unrestricted free agents next year, and they leave and they go sign with a different team, then we would get a compensatory draft pick for those guys leaving. And some of those picks are as high as the third round. Be it it's the end of the third round, but still, Brad Holmes has proven that he can make those picks in that area and get good quality players. So either way, whether we reassign these guys or they turn into draft picks, Brad Holmes is killing it.
And we are 2 weeks away, 2 weeks today, from the start of free agency and the beginning of the new league year. So this combine is really, really interesting. I know a lot of people are waiting to get a listen, but we are 2 weeks away as of today from the beginning of the new league year, and free agency begins. The legal tampering period, of course, 2 days before that, where you can, talk to their agents and stuff, but you can't get anything done. It's going to be so interesting. By the time free agency starts 2 weeks from now, Brad's already going to have his big board put together. He knows the guys he's going to be looking at. and it's going to be super, super interesting for them. Brad talked last year how they do mocks inside their room, in their war room. They're doing their own mocks, and they're trying to figure out what players are going to be available when it's time for them to pick. So it's going to be so interesting, man. We are foaming at the mouth. I wish the damn clock would just go forward. Let's get to the 13th of March already, people.
Yeah. And one of the things is, we're going to get to go through this free agency period before we get to the draft, and they can fill some needs before they even get to the draft part right here. And
can you go back a slide? Look at the arms on that dude, man. That guy, look at that guy. I mean, can you imagine that guy coming off one end and Aiden Hutchinson coming off the other? I mean, all account, that's the guy, okay? Daniil Hunter. You get that guy in free agency, we're going to be set. We'll draft a couple slick corners. You're in great shape.
I mean, there's some of these guys, I mean, there are some dudes that are out there, and now that the Lions got a little bit more money, they got this $54 million that, I mean, they're going to be able to get one of these guys, Mike. I mean, from the outside, mercenaries, so to speak. I do expect them to fill, a couple cornerbacks in free agency. I really do believe they're going to bring in a couple veterans to go with Sutton, not over the top, but just nice mid-grade dudes that they'll have a high grade on, be like, oh yeah, that's going to be good right there. And I think they'll also bring in something in the defensive line too. Like just a dude, maybe that I think they got a couple defensive linemen that are free agents from Tennessee, that Terrell Williams might be able to, get one of those guys to come here. I can't think of what the, I think that is this guy right here. I think is Daquan Jones that? I think so. Maybe.
Fred calling me out for gushing on Badgley, and now Daniil Hunter. Take it easy, buddy.
But what do you want out there, guys?
You build 1,000 bridges. You know the saying, don't you?
Well, I mean, this is the time of year that you do it, Fred. 2 weeks from now, when they sign all these dudes, I can't talk about Chris Jones anymore because he ain't going to be on my team. He's going to be on somebody else's team. And I want to think about Chris Jones on my team. Call me crazy. Who cares? Could you imagine Chris Jones right next to Aleem McNeil and Aiden Hutchinson going after the quarterback? Well, it's going to cost too much money. Well, for next year, it might win us a Super Bowl. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. I like Daniil Hunter. On the other side, you got these two relentless dudes going after you. I mean, Aiden Hutchinson played like 90% of the snaps, the defensive snaps last year. And then on the other side, they had a rotation of like three guys that all played like 30% of the snaps each. And they kept on rotating them in. If Daniil Hunter comes and plays for this team, you're going to have two dudes that are going to be playing 90% of the snaps. You're not going to be rotating in a lot of other dudes. You can keep less pass rushers if you bring in Daniil Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
You definitely want to have some pass rushers that are on your practice squad that you can bring up in case of injury. But as far as playing during the game, you're just going to rush Hutchinson and Hunter all day. You're not going to bring in other guys.
but like Fred's saying here in the comments, do you think Brad Holmes pays that much for any player?
I think that you'll see a high-priced dude that will come in a contract kind of like Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. You're going to find a couple of guys that want to come in here to compete for a championship. You know what I'm saying? Like, now there's extra money to do that. He didn't have the money to do that before. That's why he didn't do it. Last year, we started out with $17 million. That's how much money they had last year to start the free agency. And he was able to do all the things that he did. He was able to bring in David Montgomery and Cameron.
So it sounds like you're saying yes to the question. Yes, you do think Brad Holmes would pay $25 million for an edge rusher.
Yeah, but it won't be $25 million. It'll look different.
We lost your
if he does that could earn up to $25 million if we make it to the NFC Championship or whatever. I'm out. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you've been cutting in and out for the last minute. Chad says Chris Jones doesn't fit the culture. I agree with that, Chad. We saw that in week 1 when the Lions were playing the Chiefs, and Chris Jones was a holdout sitting up in the press box sipping rum and cokes. That doesn't seem like a Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell kind of guy to me. You back, Russ?
Am I back?
You are.
Am I back? Yeah. Yeah, Chris Jones doesn't fit the culture, but neither did Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. So it's now I think that when you've built a culture, because the culture is so strong, a dude like that maybe has a more colorful personality won't come in and disrupt the culture. Like, it don't matter how much a fool, Chris Jones would come in and act. Because there's still Penei Sewell, there's still Frank Ragnow, there's still Taylor Decker, there's still some guys that are going to keep those big egos in check. That's just my opinion. I think that the culture can afford one of those guys now. I mean, I don't know. Did you think that Chauncey Gardner-Johnson worked out here?
I think he fits the culture in the way that he's a dog, and you wouldn't see him up in the press box. He was chomping at the bit to come back from a pec injury. I mean, some other guys, Chris Jones, for example, in that same situation, I'm speculating here, but in that same situation, Chris Jones probably sit the whole year out. He'd say, I'm not coming back. I'm out, but you pay me. I'm hurt.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. You're right. I want guys that are going to be about our future. And, but I do expect Holmes to come in and get a couple mercenaries, man. Mercenaries for hire. We're trying to go get a chip. That's what Stephen Gilmore would be. Stephon Gilmore. He's like a mercenary for hire. You're not going to hire. I mean, he's 33 years old, but he's good enough to be in the league. He's a good veteran. He's got buku playoff experience. Those dudes you can get on like a 1 year, hey, I want to win a championship deal. So if that's Hunter, if that's Chris Jones, if that's Burns, whoever that's going to be, Brad Holmes will work out one kind of deal with those guys. Come in here and win. We got X amount of dollars left over now. We got everybody that we need. You want to come in and win a championship? What's that going to be?
We got X amount of dollars. They're yours if you want them. If not, that's okay too.
That's exactly what they did with Jamal. Honestly, I think that's what they're going to do with Jared. Hey, we got nothing. We want you to play. Here's what we got. Here's what we got. You want to be a part of the future. They got a plan put in place. They got a plan. What's that? What is that plan? We don't know. I don't know if they drafted Hendon Hooker because they thought he was going to be the quarterback of the future, or if he was just a good player that they had right there that they couldn't pass up on, and he wasn't supposed to take over Goff's spot. Maybe, he was just the player there. Maybe he is the QB of the future. Maybe that was the plan all along. Let Goff finish his contract out, then go with the guy that I drafted. That's possible too.
Thanks for having me on today, Russ. I got to go complete my bronze sculpture of Daniil Hunter that I'm doing. So I'll see you later.
You work on that, man.
God bless you all. Main Event Mike, I'm out.
That's Main Event Mike right there. You're going to finish out that sculpture. Gosh, man, I've had some fun today. I love talking about this. This is really my favorite time of the year. And it's the time where, you know, everybody's dreams and fantasies can come true. You know, we want to get our teams to be better. We thought we know what the weaknesses are. This team is a couple players away, and that's exciting. It's exciting to have to be just a couple players away. There we go. But we all think that Brad Holmes would try to get draft picks for Goff. I mean, that's possible. That's possible. I have no idea how they would do that. You know? I mean, if they sign him to an extension, they would have the rights to be able to trade him, or they could trade him during the season. Or in the offseason, they could trade him. But if Goff were to leave, you know, into free agency, they would still get a compensatory pick for him. I mean, they could probably, if they traded him, they would probably get more than a third round pick for him. But that's a great point right there, Brent. That's an interesting question. Yeah, I agree with that, Chad. There's no player that's going to get in the face of Campbell like that. They'd be into a fight. $18 million for Hunter. I'm all in. Yeah. They put a bunch of incentives around. You know how they would do that, Chad? They'd load it up with incentives. You come in, you hit some sack totals. You come in and dominate like we know that Danielle Hunter can dominate. And you get it done. But we're going to get more into that. This is Football Talk with Russell Wayne. And I know it's Scouting Combine. I think we're on day 2 now. I need to make some slides. My internet's been out. I'm doing the show on my phone, and I haven't been able to make slides for the last couple days, so I apologize that I haven't been able to make the slides. But this is Football Talk with Russell Wayne. Every weekday, 3 p.m., I'm doing this thing right here. We're talking football. It's the off-season. This is some of my favorite time of the year. I love knowing about these draft prospects. We're going to start talking about them as soon as the combine is done. But we got the free agency coming up, the 365-day schedule. So we're staying right on it. Free agency just around the corner. We're in the middle of the Scouting Combine. Who do you like out there? Jeremy B's been talking a lot about the Scouting Combine in the mornings. You can catch Jeremy B in the mornings, 11 a.m., right here on the Villain Squad Network, right there. Thank you to everybody that is watching Faith, Family, and Football. Use the link. If you use the link in the description, you are helping the outreach of my church. That's Pastor Kevin Galloway right there, NTC Church in Burton, Michigan. So thank you to anybody that uses the link and helps our outreach in Burton, Michigan. Faith, family, and football. Family and football, that's easy. We watch football. We are football fans. And we watch it together. Use football. Spend time with your family. Don't let football use you. And may the Lord bless you. And may the Lord keep you. May the Lord shine his face upon you until we meet again. And that'll be tomorrow. Football Talk with Russell Wayne. Peace out.
What's going on, Russell Wayne and the Main Event 365 Network? This is Jason Kabenda from the Detroit Lions. here to give y'all a shout out, man. We appreciate all the support, man. Know you guys are big fans. Know that you guys are rooting for us to take the North this year, and we're going to do just that, man. Appreciate you guys so much. Just want to give y'all a shout out. Y'all have a great day.